Hey friends, this is our instructional video about shapes. We know that the whole world is made up of shapes and everything has a shape. Artists use shapes when they draw. For example, Catherine Rayner, author and illustrator of Solomon and Mortimer, also Solomon the Crocodile, used shapes when she was drawing her crocodile pictures. She used circles for the eyes. She used triangles for the entire body. She used triangles for the mouth. She used triangles at the back. She used lines for her flowers. She used all kinds of different shapes in her picture. On the back, there's a little butterfly. You can see the shapes that she used to create that. And if you want to become a better artist, you can investigate the shapes that make up different objects and think about how they work together. In first grade, we learned about regular plain shapes. Circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles. We call these plane shapes, and they are flat drawings. In second grade, we talk about 3D shapes. Those are going to be our solid figures, like our rectangular prisms, our spheres, and our cubes. Now, cubes was a really hard one for me to find at home. This is a soap mold that I used to make square soaps with. So you can see the inside, how it's square. The bottom is square. When I pour it full of soap, the whole thing is going to be a cube made up of squares. So when we're talking about shapes, solid figures in particular, there are some vocabulary words we need to know. The first one is face. The face of an object is the flat side. For example, this. If you just looked at that as a first grader, you would have said, oh, it's a rectangle. Now we in second grade know it's not a rectangle. It's a rectangular prism because it has a top, a bottom, and sides. But in first grade, you didn't know that. We knew this as a rectangle. So our faces are the flat sides on an object. This rectangular prism, think about it. How many faces does it have? Well, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. Rectangular prisms have 6 faces. They're the flat sides that make up your 3D object. The next vocabulary word are edges. Edges are where two solids meet together. They're the lines along the sides. Think about this. How many edges does this rectangular prism have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 across the top. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8. And now let's do the bottom. 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 edges. There are 12 places where two faces meet together. This face number 5, face number 3, meet together with this edge. So we've got faces, which are our flat sides. We have edges where those sides meet. And then we have one more vocabulary word. It's called a vertex. Now, if you have more than one, you would call them vertices. A vertex is the point where 3 or more edges meet. Now, the math word for it is vertex or vertice. I like to call them corners because that's essentially what it is. When you hit your leg on the edge of the bed, you don't say, oh, I hit my leg on a vertice or a vertex. No, you would say, I hit the corner of the bed and it hurt. So anyway, let's think how many vertices are going to be on our rectangular prism. I'll give you a hint. I already circled them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got all those. 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 vertices. There are 8 points where 3 or more flat pieces came together. So for example, face number 5, face number 4, and face number 3 come together right here at this vertex. So our faces are the flat sides. The edges are where the two sides meet, and your vertex is the point where three or more meet, and those are called corners. If you're a little confused or you want to know more, definitely check out the study guide. Remember, we included the study guide for all of the projects that you need. It looks like this to start with. Hey, here are the study guide pages. Find the one that says shapes, and it's going to tell you everything I just told you. It's also going to give you a chart. Now, if we were in school, you would have done a lot more with this chart. You would have learned about it a lot more. But you can check it out in your study guide. It's a handy chart. You can see how some of the shapes are the same and how some of them are different. We know that spheres are super different than everything else because they have 0 faces. They have 0 shapes of faces. They have 0 edges, and they have 0 vertices. Nah, lame, but easy to remember. It's always 0. Your rectangular prisms and your cubes have the same amount. They each have 6 faces. They have 12 edges. They have 8 vertices. The only difference, a cube is made up of squares and a rectangular prism is made up of rectangles. There are some pictures at the bottom. Sphere, cube, rectangular prism. Some kids in 2nd grade really like to start drawing these. You can see how the background is drawn to show that it's behind the rest of the image, which is pretty cool. If you're kind of an artist and you want to explore that, that's something a lot of kids are really interested in. And if not, that's okay too. What your project will be, what we absolutely need to see from you is this, Shapes Scavenger Hunt. And your Scavenger Hunt page came from that packet that said, hey, 2nd graders. That's the one that we need. So you're going to go on a scavenger hunt inside your house or outside your house in nature to find the shapes below. There's your list of shapes you need. You're going to put a check by each item you find, and you're going to take a picture at the end with your checklist and one of your items just to turn in as documentation. So, for example, if I found this tangerine and I said, hey, it's a sphere, I can take a picture with all of these checked off, me holding the sphere, smiling, take that picture and send it in. And there you go. That's it. There are also some bonus shapes at the bottom. Have at it. It's fun.